Let's turn to other news now. The North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, has ordered the execution of 15 senior officials already this year. That's according to South Korea's intelligence agency. Well, among them, 4 senior members of the orchestra his wife used to sing with, apparently for spying, and a vice minister for questioning state policy on forestry. Well, joining me now from Busan in South Korea is Dr. Robert Kelly, Professor of Political Science at Busan National University. Great to speak to you on World News. Thank you. North Korea is such a secretive state, as we know. So how reliable is this intelligence coming out of South Korea?
Yeah, that's always a problem in dealing with North Korea, right? Is that the North Koreans don't actually share a great deal of information with us. And in fact, they often distribute misinformation. People sort of disappear from the regime elite, and then we think they've been assassinated or sort of sent away, and then they pop up 6 or 8 months later. Some of this is purposive. So it's entirely possible that some of these people we think are dead are actually not. This has happened before. The South Korean Intelligence Service, I think the National Intelligence Service is its name. I think it actually has better information than the CIA, which is often used as a source as well. But the NIS has had a lot of problems too. It's politicized. There have been corruption issues and stuff. So all of these things should be taken with a grain of salt, sort of 50%, 75%. But none of this is really sort of locked in. We just don't know. The North Koreans just don't tell us.
Is there any suggestion at all that someone may have infiltrated Kim Jong-un's regime?
Well, this is discussed also sometimes, too, particularly because the North Koreans have tried to ssort of assassinate South Korean elites in the past, and so people assume the South Koreans are trying to do that as well. I don't actually think that's true. I think North Korea is extraordinarily well policed, particularly the capital. I think, it's a totalitarian police state, and I think they're actually quite good at that. That's why you don't have revolts like an Arab Spring or something taking place in North Korea, so I think it's highly unlikely there's infiltration.
If this intelligence is accurate and these executions have taken place, what does it tell us about Kim Jong-un's grip on power?
That he's consolidating. That's sort of how most people read this. I mean, it is Kremlinology, right? We are sort of trying to read the tea leaves here. But, he took over about 3-4 years ago. His father died, right? And he took over. And then he's slowly been moving out the people from his father's old system. A lot of these guys were already old anyway, but there's sort of generals and people from the party and retainers, people who have been close to his father. And those people wanted to sort of hold on, we think, to sort of their old privileges and stuff like that. And so the new Kim needs to sort of rearrange the pecking order and tell people he's in charge, right? This is why he famously eliminated his uncle last year. That got a lot of press. There were discussions that he'd been, savaged by dogs in his murder, things like that. But that's what we assume here, right? That this is him sort of sending the word to everyone, even though I'm sort of young and I'm kind of dilettantish and, he's got like a party boy reputation with Dennis Rodman and things like that, that he's still in charge, and that if you oppose him, you will, meet a firing squad.
Yeah, every now and then here on Sky World News, we report that there seems to be a thawing of relations and cooperation even between North and South Korea, mainly at the border. How are things at the moment, though? Is there any signs of improvement?
Well, this president of South Korea, she has tried very hard, actually, to reach out to North Korea. Her predecessor was a real hawk, and relations were quite cold. Things have gotten a little bit better, but it's actually quite unpredictable. The North Koreans have been very, very sort of hard to read under the new Kim Jong-un. He sent a lot of very mixed signals. There have been deals, and they fell apart quickly. And so right now, I wouldn't say it's sort of very deeply cold. I mean, there's not sort of like shooting incidents and stuff like that, like there was 5 years ago. But things aren't really sort of moving in any direction. I would say that things are sort of drifting. I think the division of the peninsula is actually quite stable, even though we all don't want it to be. We want North Korea to go away. But I think it's actually quite stable, and the two states are sort of in a holding pattern.
Professor, many thanks for your time on World News. Now, Saudi Arabia's new king has announced